Okay, let's see who we're going to read for next. Sorry, had to do some things. Virgo, we have not done yet. So Virgo, it's your turn. We are going to do your blind spots and spotlights. So spotlights and blind spots for August. Please check the description box for everything you need to know, including where you can go to, where you can go to find out what your rising moon and Venus sign are. That would be a free natal chart place. So it's been kind of going since, like, you know, at least since I was 18 years old on the internet. I think it's Cafe Astrology, but it's I haven't been there in a while because I did my natal chart a long time ago there, like when I was 18 years old. But it's a really great place to go, so go do it. Don't mind my nails. I broke 2 of them. Well, I broke 3 of them. So they put a bunch of intense, crazy filler, builder, whatever on them. So they kind of look icky right now. But anyway, messages for you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, while I write down your sign. Give me a couple more. Get a pen and a piece of paper out so that you can see what these are. You have a, so there's that, a wish, you can write these down, unscramble them, make sentences out of them. Hearing like the song by the Beatles, please, please me, oh yeah. Please me. There you go. There you go. There's your, go ahead and write those down. As I said, we're going to do spotlights and blind spots, given that we're talking about the sun energy, since it's Leo season. We're almost in Virgo season, so I guess it's only fitting to say happy birthday to any of you Leo Virgo cuspers. We're going to use, I was kind of standing at my tarot tower, and there were certain decks that kind of, you know, popped up for me. We're going to use the Lover's Path for you. I don't mind the terrible shuffle job that I'm going to be doing with these cards because they're like massive. They're bigger than my hands. So I know it doesn't look like it, but that's the case. And if you are, you know, just coming back after a long time, I'm doing a table view instead of the face view. So you can see the shuffle, you can see what cards are flipping and jumping, you can see the spread, and I don't have to worry about the fact that it's my weekend and I don't want to have to wear makeup. I don't want to have to be camera ready. I just want to do tarot. That's the beauty of doing tarot, is that if you want to just do it because you love it, like I do, then you can. Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I only take flippers and jumpers, maximum of 3. We're going to do one side with the spotlights, one side with the blind spots. I'm going to clarify using the Sun, Moon Tarot on the spotlights, and then I'm going to clarify using the Deviant Moon Tarot on the blind spots. Many of you who have come by in the past know that I do pretty long readings, so you can, you know, stick your phone on the counter. If you have YouTube Premium, you can turn your screen off. That's actually what I like about YouTube Premium, is I can walk around doing whatever and I'm not killing my battery. And listen to it like it's a podcast. Okay, all right, Twist for Fairness for you. And we'll get started for you, Virgo. What are your spotlights during this time from August up until, I guess we'll say like it's a month out type reading. Spotlights for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. It's a little bit of a non-traditional deck, this one. Kind of goes off of some love archetypes, some stories. which I don't necessarily know all of them. So we're going to use traditional tarot meanings. And the reason I get non-traditional tarot decks or decks that are based on the Rider-Waite Tarot is because the interpretation part and the intuitive part matters. And I do read intuitively. What are your spotlights? Things that are highlighted for you that you need to know. Okay, here we have one. Eight of arrows. Whew. I believe that would be, let me just look. Obviously, I should have probably got my shit together before we started. Eight of arrows is our swords card there. Eight of swords, mental prison type energy. You can kind of see with this person, I guess I'm getting my sword out there. You know, this is somebody who's lamenting something, right? Eight of Swords, as you know, traditionally in the tarot, it's about somebody who's stuck in that quote-unquote mental prison, if you will. But at the same time, there's a lot of anguish happening here. And this person's like got this victimhood mindset happening. You could be surrounded. I'm kind of feeling like it's not you. I don't know why, but immediately I'm feeling like it's not you. You're surrounded by people that are like that, or you are witnessing somebody who's kind of like, you know, crying over spilt milk or crying in their Cheerios, I just heard. They've got all these swords around them, but, you know, they can get up and they can walk away. This is not trapping them in any sort of manner. So for me, it really is, you know, an apt representation of a victimhood mindset there. With it comes the Three of Coins in the reverse. So it kind of seems like this victimhood mindset, or this lamenting over something that really is pretty immaterial, has to do with a friendship that's broken, or a contract or agreement that fell through. Could also be an imbalance that this person is going through at this time over mind, body, and spirit. Often we don't pay enough credence to that with the Three of Coins, Three of Pentacles, whatever you want to call it. Three of Coins is often also the unity of mind, body, and spirit. And, or the absence thereof. And here it seems to be the absence thereof. This person, it could be experiencing kind of like a little bit of a chemical imbalance, if you will. They're kind of stuck in this feeling of self-pity, feeling disempowered, and really feeling as if they're a victim of their circumstances. Some people like to call it shitty life syndrome. I think I'm going to call this shitty life syndrome. Why is everything always happening to me kind of thing? And right now there's a broken friendship, broken trust. I got also broken trust. And you know, things aren't really happening for them. Any of the little endeavors, the small little endeavors, or the small little agreements or contracts or opportunities that they're chasing after seem to be falling through. But I think it's because of the mindset. And I think it's also, you know, the result of that is, or rather the cause of it. This is the result. This is the cause. The cause of it is this mindset, this point of view, this attitude. They approach things with a shitty attitude, and therefore the things don't work out. Tell me more. Oh, that's not you. If it is you, you know, the tarot's calling you out on it. So it's time to, you know, get out of that disempowered, self-pitying, victimhood mindset. You know, where everything's always happening to you. You know, you're not just an, you know, not just as, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like somebody who's inactive in the scene of the play. You're an actor in the play, and you have a part that you're playing. But you have to remember that you're not just a victim of your circumstances. And I don't, like I said, I'm just not getting the feeling that it's you. I feel like you're viewing this, but the spotlight's being shone on it. You know what I mean? There's something that's highlighting it this month. So if it is you, remember that you're not, you're not somebody who's just an ineffectual piece of this. You're affecting the changes that are happening in your life. And if you're sitting in this energy, that's kind of the reason why agreements and things aren't happening for you. And remember, you know, it's like when you're driving, where you go is where you look, and you look where you go. So, you know, or, you know, it's like the red car study. You know, if you're looking for red cars, all you're going to see is red cars. Yeah. Sorry about that. Had to kind of go off on that one for a bit. Because, I mean, in leadership, you often see people that nothing ever works out for them. Bad things always happen to them, you know, and they use that as excuses for why additional things are not working out or why they can't be successful. The fact of the matter is that it's because they're kind of surrounding themselves with that attitude and with that energy that, you know, the cause is the effect and the effect is the cause. You know, it's like a snake eating its tail. We might actually see the World card come up here. With my just saying that. I don't know. And going off on a tangent for 2 cards. No wonder these are getting to be longer readings. Oh, here we go. We've got 2 flippers. That'll be it. So we have the 6 of... There is victory that's coming here. But it's going to be after a time of patience, a time of moderation. There has to be a time of healing, patience, moderation. This is a temperance card traditionally, and they're calling it balance, which is very misleading, I will say. It's also got Venus and Vulcan, the story of Venus and Vulcan attached to it, water and fire. Of course, the temperance card being the tempering of 2 extremes. So this is really saying that if this is not you, there's a conversation that may happen about the fact that there needs to be balance in all things, moderation in all things. Somebody might actually be imbibing. Even though the Devil card did not come up here, I'm getting that with the Temperance card. Somebody might be imbibing a little too much, and then they're getting in their feels, and they're getting into that, you know, self-pitying portion of, you know, like in that mood, you know what I mean? And so this is saying that there needs to be a balance here. It can't always just be, you know, sitting in that, you know, shitty mindset all the time, that shitty attitude all the time about stuff, that baditude, if you will. But once the tempering of emotions happens, even if this is you, once you get out of that grouchy mood, where you're just looking for the red cards of failure, if you will, you'll start to be able to either experience successes or see the successes. Once you start recognizing the small successes, you're going to start to experience more successes. You know, it builds momentum off the heels of recognizing small successes with this 6 of, you know, wands here. And this is the guy riding into camp after beating the guys in the battle. And, you know, everybody's cheering for him. He's got the banner of victory with him. So that's the crux of it here. And this is the big spotlight for you. So either you're going to have a conversation with somebody about this, or it's what you need to know this time. This is a spotlight. Is that, you know, you're looking at things, these are small little losses here. These are small things. These are inconsequential. This fell through. This person didn't want to hang out. You thought you had a friend, but they really weren't friend. It's not a major betrayal. It's not like you got a 10 of swords or a 3 of swords over here. It's just a little 3 of coins in the reverse, right? But it's about moderating. Moderate this. Get back into balance. Heal that shit. Take some time. Take a time out. And then you'll start to recognize the small successes and build a momentum towards bigger, larger wins, right? Moving into the blind spots for you. Let's see what we have for Virgo. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. It's like, gosh, you spent enough time on 4 cards here. Let's move along. 6 of Cups. What you don't see is that there's a wish that could be coming to the surface or bubbling up from your childhood, something that's very near and dear to you, but also could be Also could be that you have a lover here, or a past dear relationship that's kind of, you know, gently spurning itself along. Could be resurfacing for you, even though Mercury retrograde just ended. But there's something bubbling up in the background here. Maybe it's just cooking. It's simmering on the background. And maybe you just don't know it yet. And that's Six of Cups. It is past energy here. Something that, you know, has been around for a hot minute. With it, we have the Queen of Arrows. I wanted to put it here. I don't know why. Maybe I should then. When we clarify, it will matter. With it, we have the Queen of Arrows. We have a Queen of Swords in the reverse. It feels like there was an injustice attached to this in the past that you do need to heal. It feels like something wasn't fair. Something wasn't balanced. But it needs to come, obviously. It needs to come back into balance. I think a big thing is that if you're looking at this past relationship or cycle that you had with somebody, this emotional connection, or this young childish, and not to denigrate from, you know, like I don't want to, well, not denigrate, I don't want to diminish anybody's childhood wishes and goals, but they are childish in a way. You know, because they're so noble and lofty. And there may have been some piece of something that you feel you were robbed of that, or it wasn't fair, that it didn't work out, it didn't pan out. And this could either be a wish or a goal, or it could be a connection. There's a feeling that it wasn't fair, or maybe this connection did you dirty, right? But it's in your blind spot. That there was something that wasn't fair about it, that, you know, needs to be balanced, needs to be righted. There's a deep-seated feeling of injustice with that, with the Queen of Swords in the reverse. I would say this is like, if we were looking at a timing card, there's something that has to do with Aries season, because it's the opposite of Libra. With that Queen of Swords in the reverse, we would say that would be Libra in the reverse. So therefore Aries, if we're looking at time on the wheel. But if we're looking at a person, a Libra. Let's see here. What else? In the blind spots for you. Tell us more. In the blind spots for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Could have been, oh, no, okay, okay, we'll take them. Knight of Swords in the reverse, Gemini energy. Somebody felt that they weren't impulsive enough, that they weren't impetuous enough with this. Somebody felt they weren't, they were trying not to be irresponsible. They were trying to do things strategically and logically rather than, you know, running around with the sword, irresponsibly lopping people's heads off with their words and their actions, specifically with their communication. But it feels like there was a lot of inactivity, because somebody didn't want to run the risk of being considered irresponsible. We have two wish cards here. The childhood wish, goal, dream, and the wish that speaks to the personal, like, worth. The wish that says, I'm worthy of something and I know I am. Here it could be that somebody, I think this is you, it didn't, even though it's Gemini, we would say opposite of Gemini on the wheel. What would that be? Sagittarius. Sagittarius season, if we're doing time. But Gemini attached to this, that there's a feeling here of somebody not acting irresponsibly, not taking that impulsive action towards something because they understand that their worthiness deserves better, and that the emotional wishes that they have to speak to that self-worth piece in order to achieve what they really long for, what they truly long for in an emotional connection. And it's like they're looking back. I'm not, I'm probably talking about you, but when I read, I'm like observing from a they perspective, I'm not going to say you, because I'm kind of reading through the tarot, not reading through directly speaking to a person. So it could be you. But it's almost like they had this emotional connection as a child, but they don't want to act impulsively or irresponsibly because they know that in the future, when they grow up, they want to have spoken to their own personal worth and understand that that wish or goal, that dream of an emotional connection serves their higher, greatest good. And it's funny because this in the reverse is this Prince of Coins. The plodding, slow, strategic, logical, slow-moving action of the Knight of Pentacles. Taurus energy. Somebody who, well, I'm sorry, it would be your card. Virgo energy. Taurus would be the king. But I often think of Taurus individuals when we talk about this because of how they move towards their goals. But we could also say more aptly that this is you, being analytical in your action towards things, understanding all perspectives and moving along in a way where you can securely say that you're speaking to your higher self and what would fulfill and honor your personal worth. Not being irresponsible and impulsive about things, because you do know that it wouldn't serve anybody justice. It would be imbalanced. It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be true with this Queen of Swords in the reverse. That's in your blind spot. So there's something here cooking that you are not aware of in the energy field. We'll clarify. Let's clarify. So let's do it with the Sun Moon Tarot for your spotlights. Sorry. I mean, it's just nice to be able to take the time and do it right with these shorter spreads instead of doing like a big gigantic 18 card spread, not clarifying. But okay, let's see, what does this Eight of Swords tell us about the Eight of Swords and the Three of Coins? I'm going to do them both at the same time because I feel like they're holding hands, these two, for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay. Five of Pentacles. Yeah, there's a feeling of exclusion here. If someone feels excluded, this is a friendship thing. Someone feels like they can't be a part of the group. I'm hearing it. Three's a crowd, or four's a crowd. Three's company, four's a crowd. Somebody felt excluded. They're very upset. It's not true, though. It's not true that they've been left out. This is victimhood mindset right here at its finest. Don't look at the words on the top of these cards. They're buzzwords that don't always match. But somebody feels excluded. Somebody has a feeling of anxiety, as if they could also be suffering financially, lost because something didn't work out, an agreement that they thought was going to happen. They're going to be a part of the high flying club, but it didn't happen. But it is a fear rather than a reality. because if you remember, if you watch any tarot or you're a tarot reader, they can go inside, and the church offers them sanctuary. They're just hanging out outside on their own, of their own volition, right? More. Tell me more. Okay. The Prince of Swords, there we go. You know, it's this impulsive, reckless action that gets taken. It's almost like I can see somebody storming off without being given any context as to why this didn't work out, why the broken connection, why the contract fell through for them, the agreement fell through for them. And the agreement may have fallen through for this person because they were reckless and impulsive with their actions or their communication. Because remember, swords are always about communication. But it kind of feels like that. It feels like somebody was reckless and impulsive or didn't think things through. Yeah. There's a little bit of a worry here about picking a direction. Somebody recklessly and impulsively shot from the hip. That's the problem here. Because, like I said before, the cause and effect is the problem. The Eight of Arrows is the cause and the effect is this broken thing. But, like, it also, it's like the snake eating the tail. The impulsive action is the result of somebody being anxious and needing to pick a direction because they feel excluded, because they feel that they're, you know, in this anguishing or languishing in poverty, you know what I mean? So they feel like they have to take the blindfold off, they have to drop the swords, they have to pick a fork in the road, and they do so, like, you know what I mean, Action Jackson, when they may not have considered all sides of the coin. Yeah. Anything else on that? Anything else? On this Three of Coins, I want to hear more about the Three of Coins itself. Do we have any closure we can give this person on the Three of Coins? This card vomit. But we do have one that's stuck. Yeah. Queen of Cups, you weren't using your intuition. You were irrational. You're emotional to the point of irrationality. Cancer energy here. But it was this moodiness. It was this brooding, moody force that kind of just... do you see? It was like somebody... it was over-emotional in their action. And somebody was like, nope, no dice. I'm not moving forward with this because this person is impulsive. And when they act, they do so irresponsibly from a place of emotion. They're not following their intuition. They don't have they don't have control of their emotions. And remember, the Queen of Cups, she has a lid on her cup. She knows when to give freely of her heart space. And she knows when to keep a lid on it so that other people don't have access to her waters. And when this is in the reverse, that's the problem. Is that somebody, you know, can't keep a lid on things, so to speak. And I'm not laughing to, you know, it's not funny. I don't think it's funny. But it almost seems like somebody lost their collective shit here, emotionally. And then somebody else was like, that's it. Put the brakes on this shit. You know what I mean? With the Temperance card, this healing, how can you benefit here? Because this is a spotlight that we're showing also, is that you can fix this. There has to be a tempering of the emotions, a healing, a moderation has to happen with patience in mind. And I think that's funny because we have a lot of impatience up here with the Two of Swords in the reverse and that Prince of Swords. Sounds more. I love that the language is kind of matching here with the princes instead of the knights and stuff. Else? Oh, good. Okay. And we have the High Priestess. Intuitively, you know this has to happen. There's a secret. The secret is the key ingredient. The secret ingredient I'm hearing is the healing. The healing has to happen. You have to heal from an argument. Intuitively, you know this is about an argument, that the argument is what kicks things off. The secret ingredient is keeping your cool. Cooler heads prevail in arguments. and that you'll win victory. Victory comes to you when you can moderate your reactions to things. Intuitively, you know this. Secretly, you know this. Your healing comes when you can delve into the subconscious and realize your reactions to things and why you react a certain way during conflict. This may be a good time for you or for the individual that this is happening for. And I do say happening for, not to, because we don't want to use disempowering language because we have this shit happening up here. But the person this is happening for, whether it's you or somebody else, it's a good time to look at conflict resolution. Study conflict resolution. I know this is oftentimes about studying the occult or hidden knowledge, but there is a vast amount of knowledge that it may be buried that you need to suss out about moderating conflict, how to heal conflict, how to have patience during conflict. That's what this Temperance card is saying with the Five of Wands. Intuitively, you understand, and you could move intuitively when it comes to conflict with patience. And that may be one of your strong suits. You could help somebody with that. Or alternatively, this could be something that you secretly know you need to work on, is conflict resolution. And that's how you win. That's how you win. Tell me what, oh, we have a flipper in here. I was going to ask, how do you win? That's how you win right there. We win by being fair, just, equal, and almost clinical in our responses to things. Libra energy. Balanced. Still, we still see balance happening here. That's how we win. Is by approaching things with a clinical precision. By embodying a fair and just individual who looks at the things from both sides and acts in a just, fair manner instead of with bias. And remember how I was saying the snake eating the tail? We don't want to bang our head against the wall and see if it still hurts. This, the world in reverse, it could be about you taking some time to look back. Look back and reflect on the situations in the past, the unending merry-go-round of crazy that is the Prince of Pentacles in the reverse, Prince of Swords. I often will say this, that, and I just said it here, that the Prince of Coins in the upright is the Prince of Swords in the reverse. Well, guess what? The Prince of Swords in the upright is the Prince of Pentacles in the reverse. This is somebody who's not acting logically and strategically. This is somebody who is impetuous, impulsive, irresponsible, and like I said, they ride around on their horse, waving that sword around, lopping people's heads off without thinking about the results of their actions. Do you know? That guy. So there needs to be reflection. You know, be just, balanced. This is how you win. Be just, balanced, fair in all of your doings. Consider all perspectives. Go in with a clinical precision. Lest you end up repeating cycles of impulsiveness and irresponsibility in your actions. Approach things with a fairness when you're judging and when you're, dealing with these situations. Don't be the person who does that. Bang your head against the wall, see if it still hurts. Don't be that person. Okay. 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 All right. And now we're going to move over here to your blind spots. I'm going to use a Deviant Moon Tarot for this one, so we can see your blind spots a little bit more clearly. I'm really intrigued about that Six of Cups, what that would be for you. I bet you are too, but you probably already know what it is, to be honest. I'm just the reader. You know, you already know about it. I don't. I'm just here to reflect back to you what the cards are saying. All right. And I mean, this is by no means cold reading. This is really just, coaching and counseling if you think about it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. All right. Let's go. Six of Cups for you, Virgo. What is that? Let's identify that Six of Cups for you. Pull out a little bit of something about... Okay. Okay. Death card. Scorpio energy. Something with a Scorpio or something that ended. Like I had said before, something doesn't seem fair. Something where, for lack of a better term, somebody came along and crushed something under their big dumb horse foot. Didn't feel quite nice, did it? Felt like somebody was crushing your dreams, killing your goals. You know, you were like, wait, no, but, and they were like, no, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? And it felt, you know, soul crushing. It was a pretty visceral ending. Tell me more. Kind of wrecked a little bit. I'm feeling like an ending to an aspect of your innocence. Whoa, okay. With that, we have Three of Pentacles in the reverse. It's almost like up here, the spotlight, it's almost like you're reliving this here. The spotlight here, you're reliving something that happened to you in the past. With this Three of Coins in the reverse, Three of Pentacles in the reverse, Three of Pentacles in the reverse. It was an ending for you in the past where you had a friendship that broke, or Taurus energy and Libra energy here again with the Empress in the reverse with it. Where you had an ending of a relationship or an ending of a friendship or, you know, just an agreement. It wasn't really a massive agreement, but it was something that was innocent, that you approached with a certain element of innocence and hope. And it was childlike. And it was in the very, very distant past, but it seemed as if it was just crushing to you, that it was just so, somebody put the brakes on it like right quick. And it sucked. It didn't feel fair. Could have been with a Taurus individual. Could have been about nature or about music or art or about, like I said, it might have been a noble, lofty goal that you really held dear to you. And it just like somebody put the kibosh on it like right quick. And never the same, I'm hearing. Yeah, never the same. Nothing was ever the same ever after. You're disconnected with nature. You're disconnected with your own personal nature as a result. You don't go outside enough, someone's saying. You know, as human beings, we're still animals on this planet, right? And it's important for us to go out into nature, get fresh air and all that shit like that. You ever see somebody who never goes outside, never gets enough water, they look like a dying houseplant. You know what I mean? So it's important to do that. But if we were looking at timings, we would be looking at Scorpio season. It's funny because we have a Scorpio card here. And if we were looking at the wheel of the zodiac to be an opposite of the because it's the reversal, right? It would be either Aries season, or it would be Scorpio season, being a Taurus Libra card. This could have been a Libra individual or a Taurus individual, because we have Libra here. But it seems as if it was really an end to the innocence that you had for dreams and goals. What's this impulsive action that somebody didn't take because they knew that they needed to do something? Did you stop something? You didn't go after a goal or a dream or a person because you knew that you needed to fulfill, you had a responsibility to family or to take care of, you know, your emotional connections, and you knew that it was going to serve a higher purpose, a greater good. So you abandoned something that you wanted to do, abandoned a person that you wanted to be with. I think that's like everybody's story, isn't it? We always have to move forward and be more responsible and pick the right thing rather than the blocked communication. Somebody blocked somebody because it was the right thing to do. They were trying to be responsible. They had to. They didn't do so out of anger. They did so because they had to move on. Think of this as like, remember, there's an 8 of Cups before this. And it's walking away from something that would normally be emotionally fulfilling, understanding that in the future there will be an honoring of one's personal worth, and that there will be a 10 after this 9. They need to honor themselves in order to achieve deep emotional fulfillment and another greater wish, right? So somebody had to block communication with someone because they knew it would be irresponsible. They would be irresponsible with it. They would take irresponsible action. Well, we're getting into some soap opera shit here. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Capricorn energy. This could be a Capricorn individual, also Cancer season if we're doing timings. Then when this happened, somebody wasn't feeling ambitious towards it. Somebody felt that this person didn't have any ambition or drive or passion towards their own goals. They weren't connected with a sense of drive towards legacy. They didn't want to be irresponsible like that. They wanted to be with somebody who would build with them a legacy. So they blocked that individual. You blocked somebody, or somebody blocked you because they didn't think you were a part of the bigger plan. I didn't think you had the drive. This unfairness, I think it speaks for itself, but let's go ahead and let's see. This is in your blind spot. You don't know this. Somebody isn't talking to you and you don't know why, or they stopped talking to you dead and you didn't think it was fair. Or a goal ended, a wish ended, but it ended because of all of this. This is like, I don't use these cards often because they're creepy. What else? They speak to me, Okay. Whoa. I'm not going to let that slide out. No, I'm not going to let that slide. I'm not going to let that slide. Somebody said something about that and then block communication happened. I'm not going to let that slide. The risk couldn't be taken. Here we go, Libra. If we're doing timings, Aries in reverse. Somebody wasn't going to take a risk on this. They felt it wasn't fair or just, and or it was maybe even illegal, but they didn't want to take a risk on it. And then we have the wailing. Then we have this here. Somebody's up in their head. They're anxious, and therefore this is how they act moving forward. Strategic goals, analytical, trying to move forward responsibly, always responsibly, one foot in front of the other, careful where you step type thing. But remember, this person is leaning out the window, going, oh no, whoa, I'm going to fall on these swords. But they're standing in the effing window with their feet on the ground, saying they're going to fall out the window, but they're standing in the fucking window. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm going to fall on my swords. Oh my God, look at those swords down there. I'm so scared, but they're standing in the effing window. Do you know? So it makes no sense. They're avoiding riskiness while also sitting in their head being anxious about all of the dangers in the world. So this is how they act moving forward. Anything else before I move to affirmations and Oracle, which is not going to be, I'm just going to do one Oracle card and one affirmation for you and we'll be done with it. Anything else? Last words. Last words. Any last words on this in the blind spot stuff? Last words. Emperor in reverse. You got two. You got the Emperor in reverse and the Empress in the reverse. So, yeah, see, dude, somebody wasn't being a leader. Somebody wasn't, embodying that leadership energy. They weren't, being in control of themselves, and they weren't able to, responsibly. Somebody felt that they couldn't be, this is so terrible to say, a good father, a good leader, a good mother, a good head of household here. Somebody who didn't have the drive and determination to you know, stick it out, or you know, take the long road, you know, couldn't last, you know. This is Emperor versus a tyrannical figure, not a good father figure. Aries energy, Libra season, because it's in the reverse. I keep on trying to explain this, but nobody gets it, I guess. I don't know. But it's like an individual who leads with fear rather than with a firm, steady hand. So as we have somebody who's trying not to be this person who's irresponsible, trying not to, you know, be risky in their decision making, there's somebody here, this is the final word. You know, I don't feel this person has the stamina and the stick-with-itness and the responsible leadership qualities to, because it's with this, you know, a Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So a Capricorn in a reverse with an Aries in the reverse. You have a warmongering, fear-mongering, tyrannical father figure with an individual who cannot moderate themselves, has no ambition or drive, and just wants to imbibe all the time, indulge in their excesses. You know what I mean? Two people who normally would be fantastic leaders, not sitting in their right power. Okay. All right. So let's get some no bullshit advice for you here. This is your blind spot, so I don't really know if this is just something that you don't know, but this could also just be the way things were. Do you know what I mean? And things may not necessarily be this way anymore, right? Because if I feel like this is all coming off of like a Six of Cups energy, like the way things used to be. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's the reality now. Because we do have that, the Knight of Pentacles underneath it. And I feel like that's kind of something that you're saying. Yeah, I used to be this one way. I'm not like that anymore. But somebody here, this whole thing transpired because of this. And this is the thing that's shrouded in mystery for you that you don't know. That's the way somebody reacted, because that's the way that that's their idea of you. And if that's their idea of you and they continue to have that idea with you, fuck fine, kick rocks. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to prove anything to somebody. You've done the work, and that's okay. And that should speak for itself. Leave that person over there with, you know, with their, you know, let them continue to block you. That's okay. If somebody blocks you, that's okay. They don't deserve to be a part of your success if they cannot, you know, help to lift you up during your battles, right? Anyway, double deck. Let's get me some no bullshit advice. Any advice for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising? Oops, that is a lot of card vomit. Virgo. Any no bullshit advice get you through? Tell us. Tell us. What do you need to know? Here, come on. Okay. Okay. Forgive. Let that shit go. Seriously, do let that shit go. Because like I said, if somebody can't be there to fight the battle with you, why did they get to enjoy the success with you? Shame, regret, and guilt. Those are just bullshit. There you go. That's that. And your affirmation. I feel like this is going to be like an hour-long reading. Oof. At 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning, this is what I'm doing. Feel like you're putting in the work here, or somebody's putting in the work here. Anyway, affirmation. Wow, look at that. We got 2 for you. I am creative. I am manifesting, and I am creative. And look at all of that beautiful healing orange energy. Massively important for you right now, Virgo. You are actively in that temperance shit, moving into Empress shit. Awesome. That is great. Anyway, that's what I have for you. If this one made sense, or you liked it, or you felt like it was helpful, definitely give me a thumbs up, because, you know, that's what gets these messages out to people who need them. Okay? So we'll see you when we see you next. Have a fantastic rest of the summer, and I'm out. We'll see you again when we see you. Bye.